Well, it looks like there's time for other acts too. What? Other acts like there's so many things to happen, but some Flug, where are you? Where are you, Flug? And Teezulb, where are you? You're supposed to take this little thing from me. Well, goblins, you know what goblins are. They just don't know what's going on.
Just can't trust them.
They're supposed to be
I don't know what's going on!
When Goblin Cabaret was created, it was created with the idea of a community and a family. And when Art came to our family, he filled in that the generation gap of a family, and it felt like a true family.
He was never afraid to jump into goblin numbers, even though he hadn't been here for rehearsals. Yeah. But he just would jump into Big Spender or This Is Me, or I mean, it was like, I'm just gonna do it.
You know, he was just always so upbeat. He was always up for whatever was going on, which was there was always just kind of this feeling of like always moving forward and always just being in the flow and having fun. So he was great to have around.
He sang with the goblins in Kirk when Kirk goes on stage and he does his number, and the goblins do their little goblin goose.
Yeah.
Love a modern master magical.
Over the last few years, Art has really latched on to being a goblin. Whenever he flew out here, one of the first things that he would do with his son, or with Eric, is come over to my house. Carnelian and I were working on the Griffin, I think, the last time I saw Art outside of LOJ, where we're just, again, as Roger said, he was always so anxious to jump in whenever he could. Carnelian and I were outside. It was a couple weeks before Labyrinth, and we're putting feathers in and stuff like that onto the Griffin, just giving it its last sort of cleanups.
And he was all about that. Like, he and I did that in the in the heat. We had a tarp over us, but like we painted those and we put them on, and we did this for hours, and he just kept going. It was great.
Yeah, and it was so funny because his stepson Eric just sort of drove up and was like, "Hey, Sean, oh man, it's that time. I know you guys are going crazy. My dad and I were just gonna walk by and see what you're doing." And Art immediately just jumped in, just like, "Oh, cool!" just started jumping in. And Eric sort of looked around for a moment. It was like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna go get some Gatorades." And he went. He got a couple of cases of Gatorades, came back, and just sat and watched his stepfather build a Griffin with us for hours.
He was always so good, and I mean, and he would always come up to me and say, "I'm not blocking your sight line," which was a thing.
He was so excited about coming back to Goblins. Like last year, he was sad that it wasn't going to happen. And when I was putting these Zoom workshops together, I didn't expect him to show up at a Zoom workshop at all. Because like we're going to do these things that like we're going to lip sync each other's voices.
Shiny things to say. So, Papa, are we going to do a show this year, or are we just going to play?
Let me walk out to the door and let me tell you something that I'm going to get for you. I am going to get my glasses, and then I am going to get you to tell you my favorite performance of all. My favorite thing is the performance of the Green Goblins of Galonia.
Ooh.
Galonia.
Birdie knows the green goblins of Galonia because she was born in the Galonia land of Gaga Goo 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 Goo.
Gaga goo 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 go, gaga goo 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 blood.
There's no sweep in the land, no grace in the arm that stands up to that good old green goblin charm. Who says it's not pretty, who says it's not fine? I'm little green toes and this dance will be mine.
We do have the number, the goodbye number that we did. Like we were originally going to do So Long Farewell, but then the fairies had that number too. So we picked a song from the Winnie the Pooh movie. No, was it? It was from the
It's from the
Winnie the Pooh movie, and it's a goodbye farewell. And he was my partner as we said goodbye to the audience, and so that's a really good memory of me of these bumbling goblins trying to take the stage spotlight, and I get to say goodbye with him.
Through warm or stormy weather, we'll always be together, forever, for within my heart. If we should ever part, we'll be never far away from each other. We'll be never far away.